The year is 2500 and the continents have long since vanished beneath a rising tide of ink-black water, leaving behind only the wreckage of a forgotten age. In this vast watery graveyard, the only signs of life are the flickering neon lights of ancient air filters struggling to process the toxic atmosphere above. Meet the oxygen hunters, survivors who navigate this mechanical abyss, where every breath is a hard-won victory and air has become the most precious currency available. With equipment held together by scrap and hope, they scan the depths for any trace of the vital gas that keeps the last of humanity from suffocating. The floating city looms like a titan of steel, a nomadic fortress where the heat of industrial furnaces provides a brutal contrast to the freezing ocean depths. It is a sanctuary of iron and steam, built from the remnants of warships and oil rigs, serving as the final bastion for those who refuse to die. Inside these walls, the sound of groaning metal is a constant reminder of the ocean's weight, pressing down on the fragile dreams of the few survivors left. Every hissing pipe and clicking valve tells a story of desperation, where the simple act of breathing requires a complex symphony of aging gears and failing technology. Preparation is the difference between life and death as the hunters gear up for another descent into the crushing pressure of the deep mechanical graveyard below. As the dying sun dips below the waves, the world prepares for the cold silence of the night, where only the boldest dare to seek their fortune. From below, the city looks like a predator, a giant mechanical beast roaming the surface in search of the resources needed to keep its metal heart beating. Hope is a rare commodity here, shared in whispers and quick breaths among those who still remember the smell of fresh grass and the warmth of soil. Welcome to the era of mechanical sea war, where the quest for the last breath of oxygen defines the fate of the remaining human race on Earth. Deep within the heart of the fortress sits Baron von Oxygen, a tyrant who commands the flow of life itself through a network of glowing biopunk tubes. His power is absolute because he controls the supply, hoarding the pure air while the rest of the world chokes on the fumes of the old world. The air he breathes is purified by ancient technology, a luxury that has turned him into a god among the starving masses of the floating metal slums. From his throne, he watches the world through 1,000 cameras, ensuring that no one challenges his monopoly on the very essence of human survival today. Behold the steel sharks, the Baron's primary enforcers, machines of war designed to mimic the predators of the past with terrifying mechanical efficiency and brutal force. Constructed from salvaged armor and powered by steam, these mechanical monsters hunt anything that dares to move without the Baron's explicit and very costly permission. They are the ghosts in the water, silent until they strike, tearing through wood and metal alike to reclaim what the Baron considers his own property. The visual contrast is stark, pitting the orange glow of industrial rot against the vibrant blue of the mechanical life that keeps the elite breathing comfortably. Below the surface, the Baron's empire expands, fueled by the labor of those who trade their freedom for a few more hours of precious, pressurized air. In this world, labor is measured in breaths, and those who cannot keep up are simply disconnected, left to be reclaimed by the cold, dark ocean. The predators patrol the ruins of the old world, guarding the secrets of the deep and ensuring that no rogue scavenger finds a hidden air pocket. He is the master of the abyss, a man who has traded his humanity for the power to decide who lives and who dies in the dark. This is the core of the conflict, a battle for the very air we breathe, where the stakes are as high as the pressure at the bottom. The Baron's reach is long, his influence felt in every corner of the ocean where a single bubble of air might still be found or manufactured. Nothing escapes the notice of the machines, and nothing survives their hunger for long once the Baron has marked a target for total and complete elimination. The hunt is on, and the ocean will soon run red with the rust and blood of those who dare to dream of a free world. The silence of the ocean is shattered as the rebels make their move, carrying a stolen prototype of a new oxygen compressor that could change everything. Every turn is a gamble, every wave a potential disaster as they push their engines to the limit in a desperate bid for freedom and survival. The Baron's forces are relentless, closing in from all sides with weapons designed to disable and capture rather than just destroy their valuable cargo today. This is not just a chase, it is a metal opera. A dance of destruction where the performers are made of flesh and rusted iron fighting back. Gravity seems to fail as warriors leap across the void, their lives hanging by a thread as they engage in brutal hand-to-hand combat on the deck. The sound of steel on steel echoes through the spray, a frantic rhythm that matches the beating hearts of those fighting for their very next breath. The predators have joined the fray, their mechanical hunger adding a new level of terror to an already desperate situation on the high, dark seas today. They navigate through a graveyard of the old world, where every rusted hull is a potential collision and every shadow could hide a deadly trap. Coordination is key in this chaos, as the rebels use every trick in the book to outmaneuver the superior numbers and firepower of the Baron's fleet. Machines are pushed beyond their design limits, screaming in protest as they are forced to perform miracles in the name of human survival and hope. With clever tactics and scavenged tech, the rebels fight back, proving that ingenuity can still triumph over raw, oppressive power in the darkest of times. The scale of the destruction is immense, a cinematic spectacle of fire and water that highlights the desperate nature of this high-stakes oceanic pursuit. This small device is the key to everything, a beacon of hope that must be protected at all costs from the clutches of the Baron. The action is visceral and immediate, putting the viewer right in the middle of the spray and the steel as the battle for oxygen rages. The environment itself becomes a weapon, as the rebels use the debris of the past to thin the ranks of their relentless and powerful pursuers. For a moment, they are airborne, a brief flight of freedom before they crash back into the reality of the cold, dark, and unforgiving ocean waves. The end of the line is near, and it will take everything they have left to break through the final blockade and reach the safety of the storm. Into the mist they go, leaving the chaos behind for a moment, but knowing that the real battle has only just begun in this watery world. The opera of metal continues, a story of resistance written in salt and oil, where the final act is still waiting to be played out today. From the heart of the storm emerges the Doof Mariner, a madman whose task is to provide the terrifying soundtrack for the Baron's final assault today. His instrument is a weapon of psychological warfare, a cello that screams with the voice of 1,000 dying machines and spits fire into the sky. He plays with a feverish intensity, his music a chaotic blend of low-frequency vibrations and high-pitched mechanical shrieks that resonate through the very hull of ships. The sound is so powerful it becomes a physical force, churning the water and rattling the bones of anyone unlucky enough to be within its range. This is the heartbeat of the invasion, a rhythmic industrial march that signals the coming of the end for the rebellion and their hope for air. In his madness, he finds the beauty of the apocalypse, celebrating the destruction of the old world with every distorted note he plays on his cello. It is a weapon of sound, a sonic boom that disorients the enemy and provides a rallying cry for the Baron's mechanical legions to follow forward. The heat of the fire contrasts with the freezing cold of the ocean, a visual representation of the chaos that the Doof Mariner brings to battle. Behind him, the drums of war pound a steady, terrifying beat, the sound of iron on iron echoing like the pulse of a dying giant machine. Guided by the music, the predators move with a single mind, a mechanical hive driven by the vibrations of a madman's symphony in the dark night. Each note is a spark, a surge of energy that flows through the ship and into the hearts of the warriors who follow the Baron's command. He is the master of ceremonies for the end of the world, a symbol of the madness that has taken hold in the absence of air. The sound is inescapable, a wall of noise that breaks the will and shatters the focus of even the most hardened rebel warriors in the sea. Even the instrument is a self-repairing marvel of mechanical ingenuity, designed to play until the very last soul on Earth has stopped breathing his air. The ocean itself reacts to the music, the depths glowing with an eerie light that marks the path of the Baron's terrible and unstoppable war machine. The pursuit of volume is as relentless as the pursuit of oxygen, a testament to the Baron's obsession with total and absolute control over the world. He is a dancer in the storm, a conductor of chaos who leads the fleet toward the final confrontation at the heart of the ocean's eye. The stage is set for the final act, where the music of the madman will meet the silence of the abyss in a battle for everything. The overture is over, And the true war for the last breath of oxygen is about to begin in the center of the world's end. At the center of the chaos lies the eye of the storm. The location of the Baron's ultimate prize, the great atmosphere purifier machine itself. This massive structure is the heart of the world's oxygen supply, a mechanical wonder that holds the power to save or suffocate the entire planet. The rebels make their final stand, launching a desperate assault against the fortress of the Baron in a last-ditch effort to reclaim the air for all. Below the waves, the battle is just as fierce, as hidden submarines engage in a deadly game of cat and mouse among the tower's foundations. The very foundations of the Baron's power are under attack, as the rebels strike at the weak points of the massive, ancient mechanical structure today. On the surface, it is a scene of total carnage, a mechanical sea war where every ship is a weapon and every sailor a warrior. The hero scales the heights of the enemy's power, determined to reach the control center and end the Baron's reign of terror once and for all. Every step is a struggle. Every level a new battlefield as the fight for the future of humanity moves into the heart of the machine. The machine itself is a danger, a labyrinth of moving parts and scalding steam that threatens to consume friend and foe alike in its hunger. Finally, the tyrant and the hunter meet face to face. The two architects of the world's fate prepared to settle the score with cold steel. The Baron fights with the strength of a man who has replaced his own limbs with machines. A cyborg brute with nothing left to lose. The hunter relies on agility and the knowledge of the machine, using the environment to balance the scales against the Baron's overwhelming and brutal power. A critical hit causes the machine to buckle, the pure oxygen escaping in a beautiful, terrifying cloud of blue that lights up the dark sky. The structure is failing, the weight of its own ambition bringing it down as the battle reaches its ultimate and most destructive climax in the sea. One final action is all it takes to break the cycle of oppression and release the air that has been hoarded for so many long years. Even the mightiest fall when their foundation is built on greed, as the Baron's mask of power finally shatters under the pressure of the rebellion. The era of the Purifier ends in a roar of destruction, the mechanical titan returning to the abyss from which it was once so arrogantly raised. A leap of faith into the unknown, a final moment of grace before the world is forever changed by the events of this historic day of war. Below the surface, the air is released, a gift to the ocean that has been starved for so long, marking the beginning of a new hope. The survivors watch in silence as the source of their suffering and their survival vanishes, leaving them alone in the quiet aftermath of the Great War. The first breath of free air is the sweetest, a moment of pure survival that justifies all the pain and loss of the mechanical sea war. The darkness is receding, replaced by the first light of a new dawn, as the storm finally begins to clear over the weary and broken world. The seed of the future remains, a small piece of technology that will grow into a new world where every human can breathe without fear anymore. Tears of joy mix with the salt water on their cheeks, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of absolute darkness. The world is waking up, and for the first time in centuries, the air is not a privilege, but a right that belongs to every living soul. As the sun rises, the world feels different, the heavy weight of the past replaced by the light and airy promise of a brand new beginning. Life is returning to the sea, as the new oxygen levels allow the first mam song to emerge from the wreckage of the mechanical era today. The shackles of technology are cast aside, no longer needed in a world where nature has been given a second chance to heal and to thrive. A new civilization begins to take shape, one that respects the balance of the world and uses its knowledge to protect rather than to exploit resources. The ocean is no longer a graveyard of metal, but a cradle of life, its depths slowly recovering from the centuries of pollution and industrial war. For the next generation, the mechanical sea war will be nothing more than a legend, a story of a time when the world almost lost its breath. They have done their part, securing the future through courage and sacrifice, and now they can finally rest as the world begins to heal itself. Community replaces conflict as the survivors work together to build a world where everyone has a place and every breath is shared with a neighbor. Even the air itself seems lighter, A medium for flight and song rather than just a struggle for survival in the dark and rusted corridors of power. Technology has found its true purpose, serving as a bridge to a better world where the air is free and the water is clean for everyone. Hope is rooted in the earth, even if the earth is currently just a small pot on a floating deck in the middle of a vast ocean. The old world provides the foundation for the new, as nature reclaims the steel and turns it into a vibrant home for 1,000 new species. This is the true victory. The return of innocence and play to a world that had forgotten anything but the harsh reality of industrial survival and war. The tools of war become the relics of history, reminders of a past we must never repeat as we move forward into a brighter, cleaner future. The horizon is no longer a limit, but an invitation to explore and to build a world that is worthy of the air we now breathe. As night falls, the world remains peaceful, the lights of the floating cities like stars on the water, a constellation of hope in the dark. The journey has been long and the cost has been high, but the result is a world where the spirit of humanity can finally truly soar. The mechanical sea war is over, leaving behind a world that is more than just a place to survive, it is a place to live. We move forward together, a single people on a single ocean, bound by the shared breath that we fought so hard to reclaim for ourselves today. Mechanical sea war. The quest for the last oxygen concludes here. But the song of hope will continue to echo across the waves for generations. The journey ends, but a new era begins, where every breath is a gift and the spirit of humanity shines brighter than any mechanical neon light.